as a designer, that is the most important thing, to communicate your ideas. You basically have to tell your whole story, how you come up with the idea, what is the problem that you found.
Hi everyone. Today we have another guest, that is Nirmay. So he is also a classmate and colleague of mine from when we were studying transportation design, and he is working for one of the biggest OEMs in India in terms of car design and the car industry. So I'll give it over to Nirmay to take a brief look into your journey until now.
So, first of all, thanks Pratik for inviting me for this podcast. So, yeah, I'm Nirmay. A little bit background, I have studied transportation and automobile design from NID only. I'm your classmate only. So, yeah, I did my graduation in 2017. After that, I have been working as a car designer in the car design industry for last 7 years. More than 7 years, 7.5 years. Yes.
So I think in these 7 years plus, you also had the opportunity to work along with Honda, as I see, especially I think outside India. So how was that experience for you?
I think the experience was quite enlightening and quite a new kind of experience for me. Just joining a global design company in a country which is different than yours. So the culture around that place is also quite different to what you find in India. So you are kind of born, brought up in India, so the
Yeah.
culture is quite different. Working culture or the how the people interact is also very different.
Okay.
So that was quite a new thing for me. Yeah.
How did you manage with that, and what were some things that you found? Were some good challenges that you had to adapt to or you wanted to adapt to? And what were some things that came out as a very interesting learning from working in Honda or working in, let's say, outside a country as such?
Most difficult challenge is the language barrier, which people have. So first is I was not able to speak their language. So we used to communicate in very simple English. So that the meaning what they are saying or what I want to communicate with them is more easily understood by them, or the same thing from their side also. So that was the most difficult challenge. And then there are other difficulties like work life culture is also different. How people behave is also kind of different. So it's a different setup. It's not a bad setup. It's a different kind of culture which you have to adapt to because you are going to a different place. So you have to adapt to that culture. So that has been quite a big learning for me to adapt to different cultures, try to understand their culture, their working, and their ethics. And also at the same time, as a designer, not to lose my identity as an Indian. That was also very important for me. So yeah, that was the biggest learning for me.
All right. That is pretty interesting. And now that you have moved back to India, almost 2 3 years ago.
Yes, I came back in 22.
22, yeah. So, and now you're working with another big OEM, that is Maruti. So how was this cultural shift, and how did you feel initially coming from Honda to Maruti?
I think earlier I was quite excited because I had never worked in an Indian OEM before. So I think the Indian working environment was quite a unique thing for me. So obviously coming back to your own country, the first 1 year I was so excited to have my own food because I had everyone I can speak to because in my language. That is the worst thing which I did was not to learn their language when I was outside. So it was a very big relief when whatever I said in my mother tongue was very easily understood by the Indian people. So that was a very good thing which I liked. And then you have all the food which you can enjoy here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that is a very big thing. Communication is easy. Like this daily life becomes so easy
Uh-huh.
when you come back to your motherland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a quite a good experience
Coming back.
coming back. Yes.
So Nirmay, right now, what is it like to be, a car designer
Mhm.
in India, and how is car design right now? The landscape in India. How would you say it is?
As you already said, we have four or five major key
Big
players
players,
in
yeah.
car design industry. That is Tata, Mahindra, Maruti, Hyundai,
Mm-hmm.
Kia are there. Then we have also new players emerging in form of Renault,
Mm-hmm.
Citroen.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying, and then few other are also there.
Mm-hmm.
So still, as a country of 1.4 billion people,
Mm-hmm.
uh, having 8 or 9 players in car design industry is still small when you
Small, yeah.
consider that similar size of country, China, has more than 200 players
Oh
in
my
this
God,
design
that's
field.
yeah.
So that, according to me, here in India, it's a huge opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for new companies to emerge and for this industry to boom further.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, you are saying it is an area of opportunity right now to be a car designer, right?
I think so. I think with every industry, we have to evolve in a
Mm-hmm.
certain way. Electric powertrain is the new thing which is coming right now.
Mm-hmm.
So all the major OEMs, I think, are a little bit. They are finding a little bit difficult to transition into the electric era.
Mm-hmm.
But I really commend Tata for pushing forward
Pushing
this
for, yeah,
electric
yeah.
initiative. So they are doing quite good in that. And you can see there are a lot of new companies which are trying to enter into the Indian market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So BYD is also quite
Yeah,
interested to
yeah.
come into Indian market. So they have recently launched their cars also.
MG is also
MG
another
is also
player.
there. Yes. So a lot of opportunity is still there into
Mm-hmm.
this field.
How would you see that the global trends being affected in India, or what are the global trends, and are they still present in India?
So I think so because this is a world of globalization,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody in India, even in small cities and villages, they are using Instagram. They are on because of the net.
Mm-hmm.
They are also more exposed
Yeah.
to the outside culture as well as Indian culture also, and that has shown like their design taste is also changing because of that. They are becoming more aware of the international trends,
Mm-hmm.
but there is also a certain sense of Indianization which is also happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So currently, we have been following design trends
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
India, but as we become more and more developed,
Mm-hmm.
we will also now, as you can see, even in the design schools, design schools or schools, you can see a new younger population which is
Mm-hmm.
coming. They are also quite interested in Indian aesthetics. So
Mm-hmm.
they are really proud of their Indian heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and they are also trying to push
Mm-hmm.
into this direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of reflects in the kind of projects that I also see students
Mhm.
doing, trying to capture, the whole variety of what Indian aesthetic is, and trying to find out different ways. Because I don't think it's a easy task also to look at such a big country and say that we have one aesthetic, right? So I believe that it is, a culmination of different aesthetic approaches from all parts of the country.
Mhm.
What does it take for someone right now to become a car designer? So what are certain paths that they should follow, or what are certain skills and qualities that they should have if they want to pursue car design?
I think first and foremost, important thing is a design degree, which
Mm-hmm.
you need to have. So there are a lot of design courses which are going at design colleges which are opening in India. So you have NID, you have IITs, and you have certain
Private
private
players, or
institutions
yeah.
also which are opening in this field. So I think in order to enter this car design industry, what you need first is a design degree, and then
Mm-hmm.
after the design degree, then you apply to these companies
Mm-hmm.
where this car design is there.
So, Nirmay, as someone who would also be hiring junior designers or new designers, as you were saying, from design schools or who has done design courses, what are some good qualities that you look for in these candidates, or what are these ideal qualities that the young designers should have so that they can get hired in any of the car design industry?
I think first and foremost, the most important thing is their skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are good in sketching,
Mm-hmm.
you are good in visually presenting your ideas. You are come because as a designer, that is the most important thing to
Mm-hmm.
communicate your ideas. And the mediums which you have are the sketching skills,
Mm-hmm.
your rendering skill, 3D skills. So these are the most important elements which you need to have, and also soft skills like communication.
Mm-hmm.
So your project, however, how you are presenting that in the portfolio is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
So the story is one of the major things which is very important in this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make the whole story of design?
So kind of being able to tell a story of the whole design that he has done, or present his concept in a very exciting manner,
Mm.
which also makes sense and all that, right?
I think so. Yes. So you basically have to tell your whole story, how you come up with the idea, what is the
Uh-huh.
problem that you found
Mm-hmm.
in the situation. For example, you have taken a brief. What
Mm-hmm.
is the problem that the target user is having,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you solve it? So that
Mm-hmm.
is design is basically that problem solving,
Mm-hmm.
and how aesthetically and how creatively
Mm-hmm.
you pursue that problem and the solution. That
Mm-hmm.
is very important.
All right.
Yeah.
Being in the industry, how do you keep yourself updated with the new trends, the new design, and what are some tips also for students or for aspirants to stay updated with what is going on in car design and the industry and skill set and all that? So some tips on that.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
how I keep updated about the trends is I think we all know about the editorials which we have, the website Car Design
Mm-hmm.
News and Auto and Design.
Mm-hmm.
I regularly go through them. Then
Mm-hmm.
WGSN is also there.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells about the what are the latest trends that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I always keep up to date with them.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening in the car design field and what is in life generally happening in the
Mm-hmm.
trends in other fields also. So that is one part which is doing, and then the others are going to motor shows
Mm-hmm.
every now and then. So wherever the motor show is or the design events are,
Mm-hmm.
I try to go and try to learn
Mm-hmm.
what is new that people are doing,
Mm-hmm.
people or companies
All
are
right.
doing.
Since you also might have new joinees and new designers working in the places that you have seen. So, what are some common challenges that they face, and how can they overcome these?
I think the biggest challenge that the new joinees have is to adapt to this very fast corporate culture
Mm-hmm.
in design. So it's not as laid back as in a college. So
Mm-hmm.
it is a very professional environment and it is a very demanding environment.
Mm-hmm.
So right from the get go, you are not seen as a young designer. You are competing with already experienced people
All
also.
right.
So whatever design projects which are going on, you are
Uh-huh.
competing with people who are 3 or 4 years of experience, you who have 5 or 6 years of experience,
Uh-huh.
and you will be judged based on the same criteria.
Oh, oh, oh.
Nobody will see you as a okay young designer. It is he's lacking in skill.
Uh-huh.
So in that sense, it's a very demanding environment there,
Mm-hmm.
and the skill sets also is one of the thing which the young designers also. What I have found is they are lacking.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have that much knowledge about surfaces and
Mm-hmm.
transitions and how to very simple thing like how to convert whatever idea they have
Mm-hmm.
in a more tangible form
Okay.
or in a sketch. So
Uh-huh.
that is one thing which I see a lot of young designers are lacking right now.
Uh-huh.
How to turn whatever idea they are thinking and how to convert them onto paper, how to
Mm-hmm.
put them onto paper, and then the communication skills
Communication
also
skills,
come
yeah.
into play. So you also have to, you just don't have to sketch, you have to explain your idea to the people. So the most important thing is in that is not to lose the quality or the intent which with which you sketched. So you should be able to communicate that very freely and more confidently to the design reviewers. So this is one skill, soft skill, which I see a lot of young guys are lacking.
All right. So and what would you suggest for them to improve on in this case, or what would be your certain tips that they could follow so that they can come up or jump above this challenges that they face, the hurdles that they face?
I think point by point, one of the things which they can do is right from the college stage, when you are given a design brief, you should be very clear about what is the problem that you are solving. That is one of the things which I have seen in a lot of young designers, that the problem which is there, they are not able to articulate it very well or in very simple terms. So when you know what is the problem, and then what solution you are also giving should be able to address that exact problem. So when you are very confident in the solution which you are giving is the correct kind of proposal for that problem, I think there you gain the confidence.
Okay.
Yeah. So understanding the problem is the one of the most important thing. Is that is one thing that these young designers can do even in the college stage.
Yes.
So whatever brief is given to you, you should be able to understand the problem, and then um, you should try to solve it more analytically. You have to observe, you have to analyze the problem, and the solutions which you are giving, you should check that. And there are a lot of processes of checking that. So you can have a critique with your peers, you can have guidance from your teachers, and that's how you will try. You will improve.
All right.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty comprehensive about the process. When we say it's a problem, it can be a lot of things. It can be an opportunity area that you are trying to build upon also. And sometimes the problem could be something does not look right, or the aesthetics does not match the target population, and so on. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that because in general terms, we people might think, oh no, you'll have to find out a problem, dig deeper. And I've also seen some students do that they go and say that okay, there's no problem. So in some way, we have to look
They
at
try to fabricate the problem. That is a big
that is
issue.
another big problem. Don't
That is big.
fabricate the problem, but look into opportunity areas and problem areas is what. So what are certain opinions from your part, and what do you think the whole Indian automotive landscape is all about right now?
So I think car design is a very subjective issue.
Yeah.
Every person has an opinion about it. So I will have a certain opinion. You will have certain opinion about it. So it's a very, aesthetics are a very subjective issue. But what we try to do is we try to solve into these things. We try to make um, designs appeal
To the masses.
to the masses. Yes.
in a
So
way.
if you are in a industry, car design industry, it depends which company you are working for. So if the company is working for the masses, then you need to make a design that appeals to the masses.
Yeah.
And if you are working for a niche company, then
Yeah. I would say probably designing for Ferrari is much more easier than probably designing for Maruti, where you know that you have such a huge uh, number of people you have to cater to. Whereas in these are just example companies that I'm taking the names for, so that you understand how the difference is. Because when you are looking at a target population of say like a billion, and whereas you are less looking at probably 300 or 400, then the design becomes that much more difficult for designing a product for such a huge population or such a huge target audience, I feel.
I think every company or every manufacturer has their own challenges.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that Ferrari or McLaren would have
Yeah.
easier challenge
Yes,
than us.
yes.
Their target customer is very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different customer they are
Uh-huh.
catering to, so they have their own challenges. And for a mass manufacturer, the challenges are different,
Yeah.
because you are catering to a lot of people. So the challenges are very different. The scale of operation is very different. So the designs which you are making should be also more pleasing to a lot of people,
yeah.
and it should be, because you are catering to a lot of like to the general masses. So your design should be pleasing to all. Indian automotive car design landscape. Basically, we have four or five major players. So Tata is there, Mahindra is there, Maruti, Hyundai, Kia, and there are a lot of big OEMs who are in a very short market share in India. So there's Honda, there's Citroen, which is new to Indian industry. There's Renault also, and a lot and some Chinese OEMs are also there, which is like BYD or MG. They are also trying to enter into this industry. So in car design, I think in India we have studios in of companies like Maruti Suzuki has their studio, Hyundai have their design studio, Kia have their design studio, um, Tata, Mahindra. I think we have Force Motors also.
What is some piece of advice that you would like to give the young audience, or people who want to join design, who are design aspirants? What would be some tips that you have for them?
I think for design aspirants who want to join college, who are just into this phase of joining a college, I think the most important thing for them is to be aware of the design landscape which is happening in India or around the world. So basically, they should be up to date with what is happening in the design field. They should know how a design field like how to work in a design field. So I think it's a very simple task of problem solving, but with an aesthetic taste
Yeah.
added into that. So they should be able to solve a problem more creatively. That is a very important thing. Problem solving everybody does, even engineer do. And we as designers, we also have to do problem solving situations, but our problems are a little bit more human, more different,
Yeah.
compared to them.
The human centeredness, or that is I think a huge focus of design itself. Designing for humans and with humans, I guess, in a way.
Yes, yes.
All right, so Nirmay, thank you so much for joining again. And also, if as the audience you have any doubts that you want to ask to Nirmay and about the whole landscape, please do write in the comments. So thank you all for watching. Thank you, Nirmay.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see you in the next one.
Thank you.